Yeah, sometimes we laugh and sometimes we cry, but I guess you know now. Baby, I took a half.
Welcome back, everyone. We are doing this really simple, pretty tutorial on this beautiful hybrid wet set. As always, we're using our Veyes gel pads to use as a cushion or as a base between the tape and the client's natural lashes for her bottom lashes. That's just what I love to do. It gives a really nice feeling to your client. It's very soothing. It really helps depuff as well. And I just love this step. Like, this is just something I have to do. Taking our Next Care sensitive skin tape, and as you guys can see, I'm kind of pulling the skin down ever so slightly with those bottom lashes, making sure that there's no natural top lashes underneath the tape. Doing the same thing to this side. As you can see, I gently pull down. That just helps make the tape sit perfectly underneath your client's eyes, and it just makes it really, really comfortable. Doing the same thing to the other eye. Always putting one at a time, making sure to have your client close her eye to make sure that it's nice and tug. Always take your time with this, you guys. Taping is very crucial. You know, even before you start lashing, you just want to make sure that that tape is sitting perfectly so you can isolate really, really good, and making sure that there are no bottom lashes peeping through. And then we're going to go ahead and remove any of these lashes that were left over from the previous set using the banana peel method. Super easy. You're just grabbing the extension, finding the natural lash, and pulling that extension towards you. Super easy set. I would have been doing this if this wasn't a full set, but this is a full set, so we're making sure everything's gone. We're starting off with our premium lashes in 0.07s. I just used 12, ignore that. That's going to be for our spikes in the mapping that I will go ahead and explain later. Our base layer is going to be 0.05 CC curl and 14 millimeters for our narrow fans. And then we're going to go right into, on our bottom layer, our cashmere lashes in D-curl. I'm going to explain later why we're using two different curls, but it's really going to help and accentuate this texture. As always, going in with our Veyes extended retention glue. I'm back on this one again. You guys know this is my holy grail glue. Can't live without it. The greatest isolation tweezers ever, these 45-degree angle tweezers, and our super bonder with our nano mister inside to finish off this set. So that's all the products we're using. Now we're going to go ahead and map out our spikes. So we're finding our center points always. Always mark out your center point. It's just the easiest way to map out your set so they're as cohesive as possible. Here I'm pulling the skin back so I can really see where those lashes are going to lay, where I want our spikes to start and meet towards the middle. So pretty much, again, when you find your center points, it's so easy to know how many other spikes you want on each side, depending on the length of your client's eye shape. Or eyes, I can say, and depending on their eye shape as well. So our spikes, we are from our middle point is going to be 17 millimeters all the way through. Getting into our inner corners, we are going to be doing 14s, 15s, and 16s. And I even did a 13, way more in the inner corner as I got more into this set, just to really give it some pizzazz. Our base mapping is going to be 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 all the way through. This is my natural cat eye set that I love to do when I'm doing these spiked textured sets, because I feel like when I have, as you can see here, I wrote down the mapping 14s, 15s, and 16s, and I even went down to 13. I really love doing this natural cat eye, especially for somebody who has like the perfect almond eye, because it just really helps makes those spikes stick out and gives the eyes an elongated look. It's just pretty much what I love to do on majority of my clients, especially for this set that came in. Just showing you guys one more time that I indeed in fact use my extended retention glue, because I get people asking me if I really use it, and I think that's so weird. I would never show you guys products I don't use. But anyways, so we're gonna go in, fish around, isolate, find that top layer. We're doing the top layer only with our spikes, okay? You never want to put your spikes on your middle or your bottom layer. Only when you're doing the set that I'm showing you. I want my spikes to stick out, and this is how we are working in layers. So here's a little picture just to demonstrate you guys that everybody else has different amount of layers. So we're doing the top one, which is basically number 4, and we're putting the 17s on that top layer. That middle layer will get 14, so 3 and 2, and that bottom layer is gonna get that D curl. This is gonna help create the most beautiful textured sets. Using two different curls is something that I've always kind of known, but jumping sizes and curls is something that I picked up from Lana Lashes on Instagram. I did buy her wispy ebook. So I kind of now just incorporate the little things that I've learned from her into my sets. So yeah, so again, like I said, we're applying our spikes to our top layer where we mapped out our spike section. So those long peak mapping sections, that's where we are going, or long peak points. There you go. Sorry about that. That's where we are putting our spikes. Super easy, super self-explanatory. You put the 17s where the 17s gotta go. You put your 14s and your 15s and your 16s and the spike sections that you mapped out, okay? It is really, really important that you guys, when you're making sets like this, that you are trying to make one eye closest and not equivalent to the other. Now we all know eyes are sisters, they're not twins. So one eye will always come out a little bit different than the other. One eye is kind of longer than the other, one eye is droopier than the other. So you really have to keep that in mind and pay attention to those little micro things that really do matter in these sets. So that's why I always find my center points, because it makes my sets come out as cohesive as possible. So yeah, we're just applying those spikes down. I'm not doing 2 spikes. So normally when I do these strip lash or wispy sets, I do like 2 to 3 spikes in one section. However, we're only doing 1 because we want this to be a hybrid softer set. We do want those spikes to stand out, but we don't need it to be so much length. We just are using it just to give it a little pop. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys listen to that background music. And again, I will always put the sound on option on when I am talking, and so you guys know when to put your volume up. So go ahead and enjoy the background music, and we'll jump right on when we're done. Oh, I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other side, also using the tape to kind of expose those lashes a little bit more, making it easier for me to isolate. So yeah, I'll hop back on in a little bit. And we're back on. So we are now going to go ahead and pull back that first layer, or wherever the spikes are sitting, and pull them back with NextCare sensitive skin tape. I always get asked, how do I peel back the first layer or the spikes without them getting unstuck? Well, this is my trick. You just take NextCare sensitive skin tape only. I've never tried this method with using any other tape. It's this tape only, and I will unstick only the center of the tape on the back of my hand, maybe 1 or 2 times, because I want it to be relatively sticky enough to pull back those spikes or that top layer, but not too sticky to the point where it's going to take those spikes off. So that's pretty much how you do it. So we are now going in our middle layer. We're putting those 14 millimeter lengths in our narrow fans in 0.05 premium lashes. I will go ahead and write down the mapping right now in a little bit. So we are only doing that middle layer. What we're doing is creating a little bit of fullness and density within our layers, because we want to kind of cover up gaps in a way, but we want to be able to see through those lashes. So again, middle layer, premium lashes, CC curl, 0.05, 14 millimeters, narrow fans. And referencing back to this picture. So do you see how in this picture right here, this client has about 4 layers? Well, my client has about 3. So we are only putting those narrow fans in the middle layer, or the second layer, I guess you can say. So that way that we are giving coverage, we are creating density, but we are also adding like fluffiness to our sets. Yeah, that's just the way I like to do it, especially when I'm doing like a hybrid set. I really feel like it just creates a really pretty texture and a really pretty like fluttery effect when it comes to your sets. And then once we are done going ahead and filling in our middle layer only, then we are going to go ahead and do our bottom layer. So one thing I want to point out, obviously in my mapping, I'm only putting the 14 millimeters in the areas that I mapped out. So center point, right? 14, 14, 14, all the way towards the outer corner. And then we were dropping down our length. So 13s in the 13 sections, obviously 12s in the 12s, 11s in the 11 sections, and 10s in the 10 sections. Same thing, we're using those 0.05s. We are creating narrow fans and putting it in our sections that we mapped out. So you're still following your mapping, but you are also creating a different look, I guess you can say, in that middle layer. I really hope this makes sense. I'm really sorry. Sometimes I feel like I don't make sense and then you guys comment that I do. If I didn't, I apologize, but I really hope that you guys kind of like get the concept. It's really easy when you're doing it. Explaining it, I honestly feel like is so much harder than when you're just actually seeing it. So yeah, I really hope that helped. We're gonna go ahead and fill in our middle or base layer, and then we'll go ahead and show you guys when we are doing the bottom layer. So I'll hop back on when I'm ready to talk again. Okay, after we pulled back the middle layer and top layer, we are now working on that bottom layer, and we are putting down our D curls, and right now we're doing 14 millimeters. Again, we're still following the same mapping, we're just using a different curl. So one thing I do want you guys to notice here as I'm lashing, the angle of my wrist. I don't know if you guys notice, but the tail or the end or the tip of the extension is kind of pointing down towards the natural lash, and my hand is kind of leaning towards me more. So when you're doing your bottom lashes, it's really important that you get that proper wrist angle to get that proper application and that perfect adhesion from the extension to the natural lash. I hope that makes sense, but I feel like a lot of people struggle with bottom layers because they are not watching their wrist angle. So you have to angle your hand to the angle of your client's natural lash. That way, when you're applying the extension, it fits and sits perfectly. Also, what I want you guys to also keep note is that I'm only working in the outer corner right now. So I did the middle layer, all of the middle layer in the middle to outer corner. So I'm still going in and just filling those in. I'll probably go in towards the inner corner and put some lashes at the bottom layer just to kind of cut down time. But do work in sections and create your fullness as you go. Because I know you guys can see when I'm shuffling around, you can still see that there's still a lot of middle layer that needs to be covered with our 14 links, but right now I'm just doing that bottom layer, so kind of making it easier for me to go ahead and isolate where I need to put my fans or my closed fans where they need to go. So yeah, I really hope that this makes sense, you guys. If it doesn't, I'm so sorry. Comment down below if you guys understand what I'm talking about. Like when I'm breaking down these tutorials, like especially when I'm learning, like I need you to break it down word for word and like so I could comprehend it. So I really hope that it's helping you guys and you guys are really understanding the concepts. It's really, I know it sounds more harder than what it looks and it could be more complex as you're doing it, but trust me, just put your lengths where they need to go and your curls where they need to go and watch when that set is done and you open their eyes. Have you ever done a set where you're looking at it and you're just like, I don't really know if this set is going to come out good or not? Trust me, as long as you're following your mapping, your set will come out really pretty. So yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. That's pretty much it as far as like explaining the tutorial. And then when we're done, we're just gonna do our finishing touches. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of this tutorial. I really hope that you guys learned something. Go ahead and keep on watching. I did go ahead and throw in some extra clips so you guys can see like my wrist angles, where I'm applying my fans, the direction that I'm putting them at, and everything so and so. So yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Also, let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see. What's your next tutorials? I love doing these type of like lashing 101 tutorials or showing you guys my map sets. I honestly don't mind sharing them with you guys. So yeah, let me know what kind of sets that you guys would like to see in the future. And again, I will see you in my next one.